Good afternoon. This will be directed to orthopedic surgeons. I have a specific question that I would like to ask, and I would like somewhat of an answer to it, if that is possible. If you followed these videos so far, you will know that I had a replacement of the left knee that didn't go well. I sought out the services of a well-known, allegedly one of the best in the country, and we did an examination, we did basic things. Now, he goes in because of what happened. He did a constrained implant with moderate length stems. And that was done in February of 2015. I started to have problems. I was back several times. And finally, after much back and forth, we finally get to the point where it's your hips. Now, before I had the operation, I wanted to know, could I have the implant you're taking out? I wanted to have it analyzed to see what caused it to fail. Oh, no, you can't have that. Oh, no, 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 no. A lawyer could have it, and all of them getting all sorts of this, that, and everything else, and that really doesn't help me. So what happens, instead of going in and really doing a deep dig before we do surgery, we see he's that good. He sees what the problem is and he can fix it just by shaking the scalpel in front of me, staples and all that other stuff, do the whole works. He's good. Now, the only problem is when I go back with the problem, then suddenly it's your hips. Then it's going to be, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And I've run across this at every juncture. I would think that we would want to know what caused the darn thing. So since then, when I make the appearance for the 19th second opinion, so to speak, I've had all the tests done, and there's really nothing that they can say. Well, the only thing is they don't take the time to look at these things. In my records, there's probably 400 pages of notes, and they're not going to go down and sit at each one and look at this and that and this and that. And if they would look, I've discussed this before, my discussion with them and the notes aren't exactly the same, simply because a lot of the discussion, which I would consider pertinent to the diagnosis, the examination, the diagnosis, it's not included in the notes. They go in and say, oh, bracing, ooh, bracing. Physical therapy, ooh, physical therapy. Gait training, ooh, let's do that. Now, the only thing wrong with that is I had an examination in 2020, which is a couple of years ago, and I've had a subsequent evaluation. I had an evaluation before that. I had one after that, and it comes down to that bracing is not an option. Now, it's a shame that can't be in my records. That would streamline the things a little bit. At least I think it would be. And since I've had issues with physical therapy, we've gone in and the exercises they were doing were killing me as far as the knees. And then he says, well, we just won't do that. Now, that would be an indication that in the records it should state that physical therapy, under most circumstances, will not do me any good. That would help the situation a little bit. And if they would observe the way that I walk, plus these other notes that aren't there, but I'm there, they would realize also that the gait training is not going to be of any help. So it just appears to me we go in, do a hit and run, and then when something goes wrong, we just blame everything in the world. Now, I would like to have explained to me why that is the practice. It's that simple. But they can't tell me it's the quad muscles. They can't tell me it's the foot and ankles. They can tell me that, but I have proof that I've had the test done, and it shows that there's no involvement in that. Likewise, when we go in and finally sit down and get to the nuts and bolts, oh, well, if we'd operate on you, you'd never walk again. It would be the end of the world for you. But I have requested testing to determine what the possibility is. I wanted what my condition is now, physical capabilities, pre-surgery. I would like to have somewhat of an evaluation to determine what most likely would be the results of a surgical procedure and what I could expect as far as quality of life after that. But we don't do that. That's mystery. That's behind the closed door. Now, why do we do this? If you can answer that, then you're doing something fabulous. But I just can't get it through my head. If you want to do something, if you do a brake job, you put brake pads on. If you put a tire on, if it needs a tire, you put a tire on. If you have to fix the knee, you do that. But when you now, as far as the tire, when you take the tire off, if it's all lumpy and bumpy, there's something wrong. Instead of just putting another tire on, you check it out to see what caused it. If the brake pads are worn horribly, if the rotor's bad or something, you fix that. So why can't the human body be subjected to the same test? It's definitely will show upon examination that something is amiss. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of practicality. It would be the thing to do, but that's it. So if you can come up with a good reason why it is this way, and likewise, when we finally get to the end and they say, well, I can't do anything for you, but they don't explain why they can't. That's about it. More questions and answers. Hopefully I will get some response from this. Flaming arrows through the windows or something. But I would like to know. I'd like an answer to that question. Questions. Thank you.